shalom, my friends, shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, the founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And it is fun for me, it is lovely for me to be here on this Shabbos morning, this Saturday, October 21st, to be talking to a man who has done even more broadcasting than I have, or even Dave has. Man has been doing radio, also television, for years, where we're having him log in at the moment because he's doing other things now where he's helping young people be creative. So, as we wait for him, let me all wish you a very happy autumn. Let me all speak to you. Hello, are you? Come on, fella, let's do this. Come on in. We're just waiting for the guest here. But as we do, I hope you're all safe. I hope that if you have people in Eretz Yisrael, they're doing okay. And I'm hoping Israel is you know. Anywho, okay, just come on in, Armando. I gave you your intro already. Let's do this. Come on. Maybe I did open this up too early. All right, what else can I talk about? We can talk about. Did I? No, can't talk. Well, let me tell you a little bit more if there's anything more. Let me see my notes here. He was on KNCN Radio back in the day, the first DJ and programming director for the station. In I believe it's in San Antonio, Texas. Tell us all about that, because this is going back. To be in charge of a major station and selecting the programming for that station. And deciding what kind of songs should play. And back in the day, of course, I guess it would be the 60s, 70s, and 80s, when radio still, you could have a station that wasn't programmed in one bunker by one person halfway through the middle of the country. It would have its own place. So, this is... Come on. Anyway, there we go.
Okay, I got it now.
Good, this is good. Hello, shalom to you. Now, can you angle the thing so I'm not looking at Mac's headroom there? Let's see what we can do.
Like this?
Okay. Well, now you're, now it's like reading Hebrew. You're sideways. So maybe that is not the best word. There we go. Okay. We're good. Let it be. All right. Nope. Shalom to you. This is Armando Camina. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, shalom to the neighborhood. I'm Rabbi Sol Solomon. How you doing?
Oh, I am doing well, and it's great to get a shot of soul this morning.
There you go. I've got lots of things. Soul is absolutely one of them. Humanity and empathy not, but soul for sure. And you look good. Are things? Where are you? Are you in Texas? Where are you?
I am in San Antonio, Texas, deep in the heart of South Texas. It's a nice, crisp, cool morning, finally, in San Antonio, but we're enjoying it. How are you?
Well, me, I'm always issues with my prostate and baldness, and you don't want to ask. So, how long ago did you first start in radio?
Well, it was another lifetime. I started my path in 1975. And as you mentioned at the top, as you were doing the introduction, I was the music programmer for a radio station. And actually, it was in Corpus Christi, Texas, where I met our mutual friend, Kenjamin Franklin. And we worked for a station called C101 FM. And it was a brand new station, just a brand new startup in 1976 is when it started up.
Well, let me stop you. Let me ask you that. How did you get that gig? I mean, it was a brand new station. Were they just looking for? I mean, did you already have training in radio? Had you done broadcasting before? How did you get the gig?
Well, I grew up in San Antonio, went to college here, and worked for the college radio station, KSYM. And then one of the professors had a contact at a radio station that I wanted to work with in San Antonio called Kexel, and he got me a part-time job. And then from Kexel, I was offered a job in Corpus Christi, but that job didn't work out. But as that job was not working out, C101 came calling and asked me if I wanted to work with them. And I said it was a natural fit. They were an album-oriented station. I loved album-oriented stations. I wanted to work at one. I worked at one in San Antonio, so I wanted to continue. Unfortunately, my first job in Corpus Christi was not that. But
Well, I gotta ask you, but what was Kexel? What format were they?
where they were an album-oriented
Oh,
station, what they called freeform station, where
yeah.
the disc jockey could play what they wanted to play. And C101 was exactly that. And that attracted me to talk to them and eventually get hired. I was the first person that they hired for this new radio station.
I mean, and they told you, were there any rules? Of course, there were rules. I mean, FCC rules. But were there any restrictions? Could you play like a 20-minute Brahms symphony or Haydn symphony, and then Beatles, and then Ozzy Osbourne, or what could you play?
Almost anything that you just mentioned. I mean, you could play a symphony if that's what you were in the mood for, or if your audience was in the mood for it, and then you could follow that up with a Beatles song or another song. But yeah, you had there were very, very light restrictions. You just had to be in good taste, basically, present your good taste, and then you were there. But that was a fun period. It taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about people, and it taught me a lot about music, and it kind of led me to where I am today.
Now, I still want to stay in. How long were you at that wonderful station? Sounds pretty wonderful, KNCN.
Yeah, I was there for 8 years, from 1976 through 1984.
Now, I'm wondering, in that decade, did it stay, just about a decade, did it stay hands off, or year after year after, did they put more restrictions on? Did they say you can't play something more than 6 minutes? Or, did it become more restricted in a way?
Well, in a sense, yes. It not totally restrictive, but there were some restrictions put on. Unfortunately, our owner passed in 1980, and he was the visionary behind the freeform format for us. And so a corporate structure came in 1981. Being that we were the #1 radio station at the time when the corporate took over, they didn't restrict us as much, but over the years, it's become very restrictive.
So is that what made you leave, or did you just hop to another offer?
No, I was getting bored with the new corporate structure, and I saw the writing on the wall, and I had an opportunity to go into television, so I took it.
Were you a weather? No, you were a sportscaster, right, or something like that, or what'd you do? Oh, because
Yes.
It's your phlegm. I had phlegm this morning. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not used to the cool weather right now, but I was a sportscaster. I was hired to be a sportscaster at the #1 TV station in Corpus Christi, KIII TV, which was an ABC affiliate. And also at the same time, I was given the opportunity by the cable station in Corpus Christi to become a MTV host, a local MTV host. They were looking for MTV was looking to put local personalities and to promote MTV in their local market. And so the cable station there was visionary in that way. And they asked me if I wanted to do that. So at the same time I was doing sports for KIII TV, I was the local host for MTV. So it was quite a ride.
Fabulous. Now, again, I'll stop you there to go with each thing. So had you done sportscasting? Were you a sports fan, or you just jumped and learned on the go?
I was a sports fan, have been since I was like a 5-6-year-old kid. I was into baseball initially, and then my knowledge of sports grew from there. But yeah, I was into sports, but never had done television. If you'd asked me if I was ever going to do television, I would say, "Oh, you're crazy. I'm not going to do that." But there I was, and I was given the opportunity, and I just ran with it.
So what I'm wondering, you have to put together in a broadcast the 2.5, 3 minutes you get as a sportscaster to do the report of all the scores. So the Texas Rangers, you probably had I don't know who the hell else is out. The Houston Astros, Oilers, yeah. And So how would you? I mean, would you just comb through the newspapers for last night's scores? Did you have to go to games? Did you have to go into what? How was your day structured so that by the end of it, you would get on the air and deliver a however long, 2 or 3 minute piece of here's the sports.
Well, I would scan the newspapers to see any stories that were up, especially local stories. Uh, I would scan the videos feed and to see what videos were out there that we could use for our cast. Like I said, we had about 3 to 4 minutes to fill. So, but it was fun. I mean, it was, or go out and do interviews. The news director would, assign me to some interviews, or even go out to games, which I thought was a lot of fun. I love going out to the games, especially doing live broadcasts from the games. That was always a lot of fun. But yeah, it was just every day was different. I mean, you had some certain standards that you had to go through, which is going through the newspaper, going through the video feeds, and all that. But other than that, it was kind of wide open, and whatever happened, and you just ran with it.
Did you
Sometimes,
ever break like do a big breaking story about sports? Did you ever get a scoop?
no, not the time I was there. I didn't get any scoops. I did it for 1 year, and then my contract was up, and we didn't negotiate a second contract because they wanted to, as sometimes happens to a newbie in the business, they wanted to. They didn't want to give me the raise I deserved, I thought. So I went on to do other things in television.
Well,
But no,
yeah, how was the MTV gig? What was that? I mean, were you setting up videos and just were you promoting local Texas bands? For
I was promoting local bands, local Texas bands, national bands that came through Corpus Christi. I would do interviews with. We would create events where we could give away MTV swag. It was that was a lot of fun. I mean, doing sports and doing which the TV stations call the Fun House. That's what they call the sports department, the Fun House. So I was in two Fun Houses at the same time. I was on MTV's Fun House and then the Channel 3's Fun House. So I was having a great time for about 3 years. I did the MTV gig for about 3 years. I did the sports gig for 1 year, but I also when I completed the sports announcing, I went on to do local TV shows. So I kept in television the whole time after I left radio.
so what kind of were you still doing sports on the local shows, or what were you physically doing on the
I
local?
was doing interview shows. I was doing interview shows. I did two. I did two shows. One was an interview show, which and the other one was a motivational show. And both programs, I played music videos.
All right, okay. So
So
what? Let me.
music was
What is
part
your
of.
favorite music video of all time? I'm going to throw that out there. If you have one,
Oh, what's my music video of all time?
yeah.
Well, I tell you the one that really gets me going and gets my mind going in the right direction is
Highway to
it.
Hell. No, I'm guessing.
Well, you know what? In a different direction, at another time maybe. But there's an artist named Stephen Curtis Chapman, and he has a song called "The Great Adventure," and I kind of adopted that song as my theme going forward. The Great Adventure.
Well, it sounds like you're, at least to that point, was really a great adventure in broadcasting. I mean, not only did you get jobs in radio and TV, but you were having a blast. You were doing sports and videos, and you had a programming. You were programming director, as a matter of fact, for a while at Kansas. So you could decide what was getting played in freeform. This kind of thing took you through what, the '90s? Would you
It,
say?
it took me through 2004. From 1976 to 2004, I was in Corpus Christi and doing, media and radio, television. Yeah. So it was quite a ride. It was quite a ride.
Do you have a one particular show or episode of something that you did that is your all time that you always go back and like that was just the greatest.
God, I have to think about that. There were some, oh man. I've had a few. I mean, there were a few shows that I walked away going, "Wow, that really went well." Then I had a few shows that went, "Wow, I wish I could do that."
Live TV. I mean, come on. Oh, wait. So what's one or two that were fantastic, and maybe one or two were like technical difficulties, or the guest was terrible, or something bombed, or what?
Yeah,
Tell me, was it great or terrible?
yeah, just camera malfunction, uh, mic malfunction. Uh, One time a light blew out,
Well, no, of course that'll happen. Yeah.
lamp blew out, and then so we had to shut everything down. Or it was just the conditions. We're doing an outside interview, and the conditions weren't as great as we thought it would be, and the wind was blowing too hard or something. But yeah, we just persevere and go through it. It's as if it was normal, you know. Uh, you just got to do. Show must go on, as they say.
Well, Well, it stopped apparently going on in 2004. So what happened then? Did you have a shift in perspective, or why 2004 did you make a change?
Well, I was, like I said, I was learning as I was going through this journey of broadcasting. I was learning about people. I was learning about kids uh, more than I ever had before, and I wanted to give back to the community. I wanted to find a way to give back to the community. So in 2002, I had a vision to create a nonprofit called Hope, Faith, and Dreams Foundation. It was a divine gift that was given to me. And in 2004, after I was given the sign to create this nonprofit, in 2004, I was approved by the IRS to work as a 501c3 in Texas and beyond. And I wanted to do something with it. And I approached the Corpus Christi Parks and Recreation to see if I could do a project with them. And at the time, they were pouring money into a zip code in Corpus Christi, 78415. And 78415 zip code, it's the largest zip code in Corpus Christi, but a portion of it was the worst in Corpus Christi, as far as drugs and crime and everything you could think of that was happening. And it was number one in the state of Texas. This zip code was number one in the state of Texas for all the bad things, and top 10 in the United States. The local Parks and Rec was pouring money and programming into this zip code to try to bring it up a little bit. And they asked me if I wanted to be a part of that, and I said yes. And so we worked with these kids from the ages of 6 through 18 years old. And we created a publication, and it was all student driven. It was illustrated by the kids. It was written by the kids. And we called it The View from 78415. And it was basically their outlook on living in this terrible living zip code, and what they wanted to do to get out, and what their dreams were, what their aspirations were. And so we put it out. It came out in 2005. And it received a lot of notoriety locally. And it also received the best award I could ever have been given. And the Texas Parks and Rec proclaimed The View from 78415 as the best community project in Texas in 2005.
Well, let me ask you, how is that zip code now? Did it make any difference, or is it still a shithole?
Well, it's made some strides, but as I understand it now, it's still kind of sketchy. Not as bad as it used to be, but still sketchy.
But that was one project. You created this 501c3, and you put out this book of kids' hopes and dreams of getting the hell out of where they were. So
Right.
you still got this. You got what was it? Hope, Faith, and Dreams, or Faith, Hope, and I'm flipping.
It's Hope, Faith, and Dreams. Hope, Faith.
Faith, and Dreams. So
Yeah.
you've done other stuff since, like.
Well, since then, once I received this award, Best Community Project in Texas, I thought maybe I should come back home to San Antonio, which I did. And I came back home to San Antonio because I thought I'd done everything I could in Corpus Christi. The view from 78415 was basically my love letter to Corpus Christi. So I decided to come back to San Antonio, and I started working with the boys and girls clubs of San Antonio. And I did the same thing. I worked with kids within the club to create publications. We did about 5 of them. And I also ran a program called Young Achievers, which was a college immersion program directed toward 8th graders in urban schools. And the whole purpose was to get them ready for high school so that they could prepare for college.
This is so. Do you have kids of your own? I'm kind of wondering.
Yeah, I have one daughter. Her name is Ariana. She has her master's degree and she's doing very well. And she's living in San Antonio, which is great.
Oh, so you get to see her,
Yeah, I get to see her and my grandson, bro.
Grandson, are you? None of my business, but I always ask. Are you married, or were you married? Are you? What's your situation in those?
Well, I'm not married at the moment. No, but I do have a great companion, Delia Ray.
I'm sorry. What was your name?
Delia Ray.
Delia Ray. How'd you meet there? How'd you meet little Delia Ray there?
We met through a singles group actually in San Antonio, and that was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Mit Mazel. Do you think? I really don't have to answer, but are you gonna put a ring on it, or is it perfect the way it is?
I think it's good for where it is at the moment.
That's a male response right there. Yeah, no, wait, it's great. Oh no, don't need no. So with mazel, and of course the daughter and the grandchild is a mazel tov thing. Because a lot of times you hear people who want to help kids. I want to do this for kids. I want to help kids, and you figure so it's one of two things: either they don't have kids of their own, or they're child molesters in disguise. But you got it really going on. You just really, because you had so many creative opportunities in your career to do what you basically what you wanted your whole life and be paid for it. Why not set kids up? So these books that you wrote that they wrote that you helped put together, what were they? Books of short stories, poetry? I mean, what were they?
Well, the books that we did with the Boys and Girls Club was poetry, was stories about inspirational stories that they could help other kids get over the hump. They were illustrations, how they felt. It was very. I just let the kids let their imagination go. I said, this is your page. Use your imagination to create it. I'll help you develop it. But I want this to be your work. And so they came up with some very good things. But the theme of each book that we did, each 5 that we did with the Boys and Girls Club and with the View from 78415, is to use your imagination for good, for the power of good. How can you inspire someone to get to the next level? How can you get someone thinking right about life? And for those who are, yeah.
So, but also let me ask you because you do a thing called Kaleidoscope of Arts. Is that a thing? So is that connected, or is that something more recent, or what is that?
The Kaleidoscope of Arts is brand new. It's an arm of Hope, Faith, and Dreams. Hope, Faith, and Dreams is the mothership, and so from the mothership we create programming. And this is brand new. It's called the Kaleidoscope of Arts Mentor Program. And what we did with this is I connected with Texas A&M University, San Antonio, to recruit students to become mentees. And then I also recruited community leaders, 9 community leaders from San Antonio, from all walks of life, from law enforcement to politics, to business, through broadcasting. And so we connected students to these leaders, and hopefully we try to make it so that maybe these students had some interest in what the leader was doing. So that would be perfect. And we were able to accomplish that with most. So we created this program to connect students to community leaders. And then it was a 3-week multimedia mentorship. The first 2 meetings, the first 2 weeks were Zoom meetings where the mentee and the mentor got to know each other. And then the third meeting was an on-camera interview between the mentee and the mentor. And we connected with a high school, Southwest Preparatory, and their high school students to conduct the on-camera interview. So that was fun for them as well, learning a real situation. And these mentees, for the most part, had never done an on-camera interview, so it was new to them as well. So from these 3 meetings that they conducted with their mentor, the mentee wrote a 500-word story about meeting their mentor and what it meant and what the mentor's message was to the community. And so we put all this together, and we've created a publication. It's called San Antonio Inspires. And it was illustrated by the students. The cover is illustrated by Oliver Lyric, who's a fabulous student artist. He goes to Southwest School of Art. And the design of the publication was created by Nathaniel Hernandez, who goes to Texas A&M University, San Antonio. And the stories were written by the students of Texas A&M, San Antonio. So it's a very inspirational book. We call it The Power of Good because we feel like when you read this, you're going to get something good out of it, and you're going to be inspired by what these students wrote and what the community leaders said.
Now, it's interesting that your foundation is called the Hope, Faith, and Dreams Foundation. You talk about a divine inspiration. You don't really skirt religion too much, although it seems that, at least personally for you, you are faith based. I mean, I'm Jewish. I'm a rabbi.
Yeah.
You are not. But does God come into it anywhere, or is it more along the lines of humanity, just being humane and being
Well, I think God is humanity. That's the way I look at it. It's humanity is God. God is humanity. Uh, I do skirt the religion. I'm not a religious per se organization. Because I don't want to be favored in that way. What I do want to be favored in is going out and doing what Jesus talked about, what God has talked about, is just helping others. So I just want to take that theme, that mission, those words, and use them to help others. And that's what we want to do. I will say this: when I received this message, I did receive a message on January 1st, 2002. I walked out into my balcony and I looked up into the sky, and I was at a crossroads in my life at that point. And I just said, "Hey, God, what do you want me to do? Because I don't know what I want to do this year." And this message came back really quick: start a nonprofit. I go, whoa, okay. And I said, what should I name it? And it came back: Hope, Faith, and Dreams. So
Well, when you say it came back, did you actually hear a voice of God, or were you on mushrooms, or was it just like it came to your mind? And
no, it just came to my mind. I did hear a voice. I mean, I can't describe it really, but I did hear a voice in my head that says Hope, Faith, and Dreams. And I was drinking coffee that morning. So.
Yeah, so that's all you had. A little bit of adrenaline, but that's about it. Well,
Yeah.
it sounds lovely what you're doing, what you've already done. How much longer? You have some years left, thank goodness, and you look in fabulous shape. How much longer do you see yourself continuing, what you're doing and having a very hands-on role?
Oh, I'm 60. I'm gonna turn 69 in about a month, less than a month. I see at least 8 good years left to really be hands-on and go from there. I hope I have more, but I'm giving myself 8 good years.
Yeah. Say my wife and I turned 69 last night, but
Oh.
I think what I'm saying. Anyhow, we've been talking with Armando Camina. If you want to find out more about what he does, and if you maybe want to, it's a nonprofit organization, so they're always, I'm sure, looking for donations, maybe more mentors. Are you still only Texas based, or are there ripples outside of the state?
Well, that's what I'm trying to create now, and hopefully with your program, I can create a little bit more with that. Our dream, our goal is to go all over the world. I mean, if we can, if that's the plan, we want to do it. We're open to everything. I think what we do can be replicated anywhere in the world.
Borough
And
Park,
yeah,
absolutely.
well, it can be we can do it anywhere, and we're starting off in San Antonio, and we want to branch out from there. So we want to connect with everyone and we in the next 8 years we want to be the best that we can be at helping others.
Well, I wish that for you because it sounds wonderful what you're doing. I do want to send people to your website, which is hopefaithdreams.org.
Yeah.
Hopefaithdreams.org. So it remains for me to just thank you ever so much, Armando Camina, for giving us a little bit of hope. A little, I've got no hope left, but a little bit of faith, a smidgen of faith, and dreams. My dreams are generally X-rated and involve Beatrice Arthur. But anywho, what a delight to have Armando Camina in the neighborhood on this Saturday morning. I wish you hope, I wish you faith, I wish you good dreams, and shalom to you.
Well, thank you to everyone, and thank you. It's great to get an injection of soul. And very quickly, when you go to the website Hope, Faith, and Dreams, you'll learn more about me and our creative team. You also get to see some videos that we've produced, some animated videos that we have produced that showcases the power of good. And of course, you can read more about San Antonio Inspires and possibly make a donation to get a copy of San Antonio Inspires.
Check it out, hopefaithdreams.org and Armando Camina. Thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Shalom.